Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Sika Gold, your virtual sister, all the way from Vancouver, Canada, and it's such a pleasure to be on your screen today. As you guys are aware, on this channel I've been sharing my experience, my journey, and that's why it's titled Imperfect Me, because I'm not just showing the happy sides of me, I'm also showing you the challenging sides, the risky sides, the not so beautiful sides, just every part of me, so we can potentially learn from it, so we can draw the lessons that we're trying to draw from whatever experience we face, because life excuse me, is really a learning curve. We learn every single day. The day you decide not to learn is the day you officially die, because without learning there's no improvement, there's no way you can get better. So I am excited to tell you that right on this journey we are going to, drum rolls, well, we're going to share our healing journey, whatever healing looks like for me, because as you are aware, 2024 was a very challenging year. I did share some of the things I experienced, talking about the abuse I went through in my marriage, talking about the divorce process, how the thing affected me. And if you can remember, there was an old video on my channel, I think I made it private, but I'll make it public after this one, where I was really crying and grieving, you know, the loss of that union. And I just want to let you guys know, a lot of people contacted me after this video. Oh, are you sure you're okay? Don't cry like this on the internet, because it could be used against you. Don't do this, don't do that. And I felt even suppressed the more. I don't know why people have the habit of suppressing victims. People keep telling them, don't say a word, just shut up and stay there. As a society, we ought to do better. That's my way of expression. That's my way of release. And even if you're not okay with that, I learned to acknowledge the fact that we heal differently, we grieve differently, and we react differently, of course. So me grieving that loss so deeply also revealed to me how much I cared about it. Me grieving that loss so intensely, it really did show me that that thing I grieved for held a certain spot in my life, held a certain value in my life, was very important. It was deep because I was all invested. So it showed me my ability to love, and to love genuinely. It showed me my ability to care, and to care wholeheartedly. So it's not something I'm ashamed about. On the contrary, let's take that. So it did show how much I cared about what I lost, and it's okay. I don't know why people are making a big deal out of it. It is okay. It's my journey. I'm fine. I'm well. I'm healthy. I'm getting good and better by the day. Learning to manage my emotions, letting the anger, the fear, the worry not get the best of me. That's why it's a journey. There's never going to be a time where I'll be like, well, maybe in the future, where you'd be like, I know everything, or I don't need to learn anymore, or no. It is a journey. So it's a journey. It's a journey of where we learn, we learn, we leave, we strategize and re-strategize. But anyways, what I know at the end of the day is that in my life, God will be glorified, because I live a life to please the Lord, not to please any man, not to please my family, not to please the people around me. I want my life to please God, because it makes no sense if I please everybody around me and God is displeased. You get? So going forward, our emphasis, our focus is going to be only pleasing the Lord, and everything else will align. Everything else will just come into place gradually. So the first step of this, my healing journey, is about forgiveness. And forgiveness is a huge topic that we might not even end up exploring in its completeness today. But I want to share a few things that I think where forgiveness is really important. And the first step is forgiving myself. Now, because in the midst of all this chaos, before I even got married and before the trauma and everything that has transpired, I did pray a prayer in 2019. And I said, God, if this is not your will, please, 2017 it was. I said, Lord, if this is not your will, just get me out of this. Don't even allow me to go in. And before we went now back home in 2019 for the church wedding, I had a revelation that I believe I shared so much on this channel. But unfortunately, it's now I understood part of the revelation and not the completeness of the revelation. And if you would permit me, just to put things again into context, I will say the story. But if you have watched it before, please skip to the next point. I saw myself running around in the market, shopping for what I needed to prepare for the wedding, which was kind of odd because that was the same day of the wedding. Normally things were supposed to be ready, but they were not. So I found myself running around looking for A, B, C, D, E, and just to get ready for the wedding. I'm talking about the bouquet, I'm talking about the shoes, I'm talking about flowers, just to decorate the hall or the church and stuff like that. So by the time I was done running around and I went to church, because I'm like, I've gotten everything I need, let me go to the church and so the wedding can start. So I entered the church. There was my ex there, the pastor was there, and the church was empty. So and the pastor tells me, sit there. He's gonna have a word with the person in his office. So they went into the office and they were talking. Well, for what felt like hours. So I was sitting in the church just waiting for hours, and then when they finally came out, the pastor came out first, and the pastor told me, he's not bad, but he doesn't know God. The ball is in your court. So when I woke up from that dream, I thought that was a Cornelius moment. Now, if you're familiar with the Cornelius story in the Bible, he was a man who was acting. That's actually the difference. Now that I'm telling you about it, I'm like, why did I even think it was a Cornelius story? Because it was just not. Cornelius was an upright man who was abiding by the law of the land. Cornelius had an exemplary behavior. Cornelius was a righteous man. Now, the only thing was that Cornelius did not know God. I shouldn't have thought that was a Cornelius moment. I should have paid attention to the whole revelation, which said he's not bad, but he does not know God. A man who doesn't know God will put his wife through abuse and won't even recognize that this behavior that I'm having is abusive. A man who doesn't know God will be calling me out of my name. I got called an asshole. I got called a bumbleclot because the person is from Jamaica. I got called names in the book that sometimes it was even hard to just be intimate with the person, because it's like, how can I be intimate with you after all those name callings? Because they just kept ringing in my head, The behavior was just nasty. And of course, that is a behavior of somebody who genuinely doesn't know God. Oh, what's... Sorry guys, I just had to attend to my little princess right here. So like I was saying, the person who knows God has a relationship with God. And let me tell you a second thing where I was strict at. Now, at the beginning of the conversation, at the beginning of a talking stage, when men ask you, what exactly are you looking for? Please, ladies, I beg of you, to just respond in a way that they don't alter their behavior based on what you say. And I will give you an example. Now, when I said, I was looking for a God-fearing person, immediately I heard, I go to church. There is a huge difference with a man who goes to church and a man who has a relationship with God. Let me say that again. There is a huge difference with a man who just goes to a church and a man who has a deep and connected relationship with God. I will say that again. There's a huge difference between a man who goes to church and one who has a genuine relationship with God. Oh, thank you, princess. No, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry, lovey. I got it. It's fine on mommy's clouds, okay? So do not let your guard down, because the moment you just say what you want out of your mouth, that's exactly who they will become. They can only fake it for so long, and this is what was faked for me for a whole 7 years. A man who has a relationship with God will know not to treat the wife badly, will know not to abuse the child, will know to be an upright man according to God, not even according to me. Irrespective of my behavior as a woman, as a wife, you love God, so you behave in a way that is acceptable to your maker. Everything else will align, but I was strict. That wasn't the case. The person immediately said, oh, I go to church. Oh, I do this, I do that. That was not the real identity, unfortunately.
Mommy.
Yes.
Give a snack.
Yes, I'll give you one. Can we finish this?
Are you going to give me a snack?
So I need to forgive myself for all those things. I need to forgive myself for not paying attention to the signs, to the symptoms. Yeah. Oh your gosh. I have to really forgive myself, because at a point I started questioning, Lord, did you really say? And I think I made a video about it in the past. Lord, did you really speak? If you spoke, why is this happening? Because the Bible tells me that the blessings of the Lord make it rich and adds no sorrow. So what happened? Because the sorrow was deep, and it kept going deeper and deeper. I just couldn't grasp it. I couldn't grasp it. So self-forgiveness is very important. And what does it look like? What does it really look like for me to forgive myself? Now, let me tell you again, it's different for everybody. It's really different for everybody. But for me, it looks like acceptance first. It looks like, you know what, I cannot change my past, but I can do everything in my future, in my present, to have a better future. And of course, that's a more serious walk with God. The Bible says that those who are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. So going forward, that's my approach. And I did ask God for forgiveness, because, sorry guys, I had to change the location because of course there was a lot of people moving around and a lot of movement, and I just wanted a more quiet spot where I could just talk to you heart to heart. So as I was saying, for me, forgiveness starts with acceptance. I have to accept that I cannot, unfortunately, change my past, but I can do everything in my present so that my future will turn out differently. So it comes down to a more serious walk with God. Maybe, just maybe, I wasn't as serious as I should have been with the Lord because I missed that the understanding of my dream. I missed the ending of that part that was actually the most important part, because I genuinely do not desire to be acquainted or intimate or partnered with a man who does not have a heart for the Lord. And I found myself, unfortunately, entangled in such a situation. Again, when people just say, I go to church, that is no indication that people have that personal relationship with God. And I would say I was pretty well tricked, because the person was following me to church, the person was appearing faithful in those little things, but there was just something that was off. You know, when something is forced on somebody, or he felt like doing those things just to keeping me, you know, it wasn't out of the genuineness of heart. And my mom kept telling me that. She's like, no, a man who knows God before knowing you, he's gonna love you. A man who, because of you, wants to now serve the Lord, it's not solid like that. It's really not solid. And that's what I experienced. But nevertheless, we live and we learn. That's why I share my testimony with you guys. That's why I share my journey. It's far from over, but I do believe in showing you the good, the bad, and the ugly, because we're in this together. We listen and we don't judge. Up in here, we listen and we don't judge. So let's do that. I will go about the healing journey. So the first step for me will be self-forgiveness. Self-forgiveness. That's very important. Very important. It's a topic that is so broad. There are so many things I need to do, so many ideas I need to consider, just to make sure I really genuinely forgive myself, because a lot of things happen and keep happening, and you just like, darn it. That hurts. And at that time, when you still remember the pain, when you still remember the mess, when you still remember, you have to do what? Forgive yourself over and over and over again. And I promise you love it. And over again. Yes. You're gonna be just fine. You're gonna be just fine. I'm going to be just fine. I just remembered something. I just remembered my ex-partner taking a knife after a disagreement. And I asked myself, how did I get here? But again, as I just remember that, I forgive myself. 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 And after self-forgiveness, I also have to forgive the other person for whatever was done to me. Madam, that's noisy. Thank you. For whatever was said to me. For whatever was done to me. I have to forgive. Is it the miscarriage? I have to forgive. Is it the name calling? I have to forgive.
Forgive.
Is it the abuse? I have to forgive.
Forgive everybody.
Forgive everybody. Is it the maltreatment? I have to forgive. The pain, the trauma, the torture, I have to forgive. Not for the other person, for myself first. And for my daughter. I have to forgive, so I can freely move on, so I can genuinely move on, because holding on to those feelings, that desire, that anger is not going to be useful to me, and I don't want to get into my next with the baggage of my ex. You got me? Oh wow, good job, princess. High five. Good girl. I'll go put it in the kitchen upstairs and come fill it up with water. Get me some water, please. Put some water and ice for me. Ice, and you add more water, please.
There was rice in it, melt.
I know. Go get me fresh ones, please. Thank you. I love you. So yeah, the Lord is good all the time. That's the message I had for us today. I hope you enjoyed this very short video. I will show you what healing looks like. I will show, for me, at least for me. And just bear with me, because I'm still in school dealing with ABCD. So it's tough. As I'm talking to you, I have an exam in the morning, very early. So yeah, let's do this healing journey together. And I really hope that you're inspired by my story and you get to learn one thing or two that will be an indication that I'm really an inspiration to you and that God is using my life as a testimony. No shame up in here, no shades up in here. See you next time.